Hi there, math students. This is Dr. John, your math professor, helping you with rational expressions and preparing you for a grade 11 pre-calculus exam with a little bit more difficult question today. We want to simplify A and B and answer the following questions. What is A minus B? What's AB or A times B? And what's B divided by A? And here I've listed out what A and B are in this question. This one's in black, this one's in brown. Now when we want to have these, we'll want to simplify these first before we do the subtraction or multiplication. In other words, we'll want to factor these as much as possible. Let's take a look at this first one here and take a look at the denominator, x squared plus 9x plus 20, and see if we can factor that out. We'll do this brute force method. That has to be an x, that has to be an x, and then they both have to be pluses since these are both pluses. Now what is it that we do here to give you a 20 and to add up to 9? Fairly straightforward. That's a 5 and a 4. Double check. This is 20, that's x squared, that's 5x, plus 4x is 9x. Okay, I've factored this. I'm going to write this in here in a different color. I've written the factored form for this one, and I've written up the denominator of b up here. Just double check, make sure I've got it all correct. Let's see if we can factor this as well using the same brute force method. We know this has to be an x, this has to be an x, this has to be a plus, has to be a minus, because that's minus, that's plus, so this plus number is going to be bigger, but it's two numbers that multiply together to get you 18. We have a couple of choices there. We have 1 and 18. We have 2 and 9. This minus there, this would give you minus 7. If you add it up, this would give you minus 17. And what else do we have? We have 3 and 6. Minus 6 would give you a minus 3. So how about making it a plus 6 and a minus there? So if I go this and there, I just did that really quickly. Hopefully you followed what I was doing. Now let's double check. Minus 18, x squared, plus 6x, minus 3x. That works for this. I've got this factored. I'm going to write this down there. All right, I've written this here, factored down here for the denominator. While we're at this, I think we could just manually factor this. We realize there's a 3 in common here, and there's an x in common. What are we left with? X minus 3. We have everything factored, and we can see if we can cancel anything. I will use a different color to cancel. This one has an x minus 4 here and there, so I just left with a 1 on the top. You need to write that in there. That cancels that. This here is a minus 3, that left with that. So now we have these slightly modified a's and b's. I'm going to write them down here in the bottom with the modified form so we can see them clearly. Here in the bottom, you'll see I rewrote this, double check, 3x, yes, x plus 6, yes, there's a 1 there, x plus 5. I've rewritten this. You just have to be a little careful later if we're doing non-permissible values. We do the non-permissible values here, right in the beginning, and we do the non-permissible values anywhere in the process. So I'm just going to write those out so that we have those right away. For this one here, the non-permissible values are minus 4 and minus 5. Does not equal minus 4 and minus 5 for this one. For this one over here, you have two different values. You have x does not equal 3 and minus 6. Hopefully you can see that. I wrote them up here. Even though we canceled the 3 and we don't have the 3 in the denominator here, the minus 3 like this, we still have to check for non-permissible values before we cancel anything. So I've just written those in there so we have them handy. I hope this isn't a mess. I tried using different colors so things stand out a little bit. We're going to be using these two though as we continue our operations. Let's do the next step in the operation, a minus b. For subtracting two fractions, we always want to make sure we have a common denominator. In this case, we have two different denominators, which means we're going to have to multiply this numerator by x plus 6 and the denominator by x plus 6, so we have a common denominator here. So I'll write this all out. So this would be a for a minus b. I'm just going to write out a first of all. What would that be? That would be this whole thing, 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator, it's x plus 5. But we want to have this in the denominator as well, x plus 6. So to do that, I'm going to have to multiply this by x plus 6. There we go. And then b, we'll want to also create this common denominator here. We already have 3x, and we already have x plus 6. But we want to multiply by this x plus 5 so that we have this here as well, which means we have to do that here. Now we have a common denominator for a and b, which is x plus 5 times x plus 6. And just check the non-permissible values. Yeah, those still carry over. Now we can take these and subtract them. I can take this one here and subtract this one. For a minus b is equal to, I'll draw a long line here because this is our denominator. Now it's going to be this x plus 6 here, and then we're going to go subtract these two terms. Subtract 3x times x plus 5, because we're subtracting. Now we want to take this, let's multiply this all through. I'm going to do this on top because I don't want to squeeze this here too much. This would be 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 15x. We still have this, x plus 6. Let's add these all up. I hope it doesn't look too messy here. It's going to be minus 3x squared, that's our first term. I'll write that in here. Excuse the horrible sounds. Minus 3x squared, that's the first term. And then we're going to have minus 14x, and then we're going to have plus 6. Here we have a minus b, written it all out. This denominator, these are found here as well. So the non-permissible values are shared with this as well. They're minus 5, minus 6, but you have to keep the non-permissible values all the way from the front. All of these are not permissible in this operation. Now that we have this, I'm going to erase this and say we got this answer here, got this one done, and we're going to work on that second one. Now, just for the sake of getting some space, I'm going to erase all of this and use these, write these up here as we do this next operation. I have rewritten these here, A and B, right up here. And for this one here, we're multiplying. So we just want to take these two, squish them together. We can put brackets around there and realize we're multiplying this by this and this by this. So the answer for this one, fairly straightforward. It's just this. We're combining denominators, and this, just like you would multiply any fraction, times 3/4 would be 3 over 8. We multiply the top by the top, bottom by the bottom. So this would be the answer for this one right here. Fairly simple. The disallowed values here are all of these disallowed values still. 3, minus 6, minus 4, minus 5. All of them, even though only the minus 5 and the minus 6 appears in the final answer here. Because you've done some canceling in the process, you have to keep that in mind as well. I have erased everything here and rewritten this because we want b divided by a. I've written b up first, divided by a. I've done these factored forms because we don't need all these extra things here. So if we're going to do a division, what we do with this here is we flip this and multiply. I'm going to do that right away. Make x plus 5 in the top over 1, and this becomes a times sign now. I hate to use times signs when I'm already using x, but hopefully you can see that there for clarity. Now we've got this ready to go. Top multiplied by the top, 3x. Remembering this is not really part of that. X plus 5 all over x plus 6. Here we have our final answer here. The x plus 6, the not allowed values, is already represented right there. Before we flip this here, the x equals minus 5, already not permissible. That's already listed right there. So we've already dealt with all the non-permissible values. We keep those from before, and we've done these 3 different operations. They're not complicated. It just can get a little messy, as this is right here. I hope that helped. If it did, like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.